I believe that the fires we're cast upon are the flames we shall become. I believe in a common calling where our temples pray as one. I believe in the word of wonder and a kingdom for the...
Okay. What's up, man? Good. How are you?
You're looking big in your tank top there.
Yeah. I had a photo shoot yesterday. I did. And then I gotta do a video shoot tomorrow for my product line. And then I have a client in town from Alaska right now. He just left my house. We trained earlier, and I just don't eat enough though, man. I know you still eat a lot. I eat like 3 meals a day, and I just can't do more than that. I'll do like 6 ounces of beef and like a couple white rice. I've been doing this for like the last 3 months to get lean, because I was eating just all burgers and junk all day. And then I can do like a protein shake here and there and some fruit, and I just can't eat it all.
Honestly, I only eat like 3 times a day.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't want to, just between work and everything, I just don't have time.
You know, King Kamali, he can still eat like 8 meals a day. It's crazy.
I don't know how you can eat 8 meals unless you just sit home and eat, and don't do anything.
I think that's what he does. I think he trains people. Maybe I know he coaches a lot of people, but he just loves food. He can just eat. So I think he just carries it with him and eats it. And
well, I carry food with me too. It's not even about that. I wake up, I eat, go to the gym, work, eat again, train.
Yeah.
At that time, it's time to go home. It's night already.
Yeah.
And have a protein shake and then go home and eat again. That's the whole day.
I think the most I ever ate is when I had Hani help me. He had me eating, I think, 8 full meals a day, like 12 to 15 ounces of meat. And I was miserable. I was using like the GRHP6, but it stops working after a while. It doesn't make you hungry anymore. And it was, I would tell Han, like, bro, I can't eat anymore. He's like, dude, you have to. I was like, okay. And so
for me, it's not even a matter of being not hungry or not hungry. It's just time.
Yeah.
No, I guess if you don't have a actual job or things you have to do, you could just sit there and eat all day long.
I think
I do although I'm going to correct that. I eat twice in the middle of the night.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, like I get up at I'll eat dinner like midnight, and then I'll eat again at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then again at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So
okay,
I guess that makes 5.
Yeah.
That's because that's when I'm home and that's when I have time to eat. I get hungry at night because I'm so busy during the day. I just don't have time. And
I think, once you don't have to either once as you get older too. Your body, I remember I spoke to, like Dexter Jackson. He was, his last several years competing, he was only doing like 6 ounces of meat each meal, and he wasn't eating much either. So, and then I think your digestive system just gets, I know around 28, my digestive system, that was like, I guess after 10 years competing, started getting kind of messed up, a lot of acid. And then the bigger you get too, once I got over like 250, it was just the sleep apnea, the acid reflux and all that stuff. And, people always ask, like, how do you eat? Like, how do you answer that? You're that crazy and driven to do it or not. That's what separates, the bodybuilders. It's all about, you just have to eat it. There's no secrets. You just eat the food. It's miserable.
Actually, I got my biggest in my early 40s.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
And I was eating a lot. I don't know if I was eating a lot of times a day, but I would eat like breakfast with like 20 egg whites and this huge bowl of cream of rice and banana and berries. I was just eating a lot of food.
Yeah.
Like massive amounts.
Yeah.
Now I just, I think also it depends like around your training. I know after training, I'm hungry. And
Uh-huh.
since I train later in the evening, that's probably why I eat at night. And then, I eat breakfast in the morning and then to get up and start working and stuff. I'm not
Yeah.
really that hungry till I train, so I'll get in another meal, but I kind of have to force it down.
Do you have, I think I have to eat junk food too, or I'll start getting like that, I'll have to do like a cheeseburger and fries like every 3 days, or I start getting just too like sunken in and thin feeling. I don't get pumped. Are you like that too?
I can't, I have Crohn's, so I can't eat that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I
So
can't.
you have to eat all clean.
Like right now I'm eating ground chicken mixed with ground beef, extra lean with rice and what is it? Avocado mixed into it. And I just made a huge bowl of that.
Yeah.
And that's going to last me all day. And I'll just be eating on that all day.
Of course, when you're younger and you get into bodybuilding, it's easy because you haven't been eating all those foods for years and years and years. Once you've been doing it for years, it's harder because
you develop food allergies. Like I used to be, like I said, I used to eat 20 egg whites for breakfast. Now I can't even eat egg whites. I eat them and I'm straight on the toilet.
Oh yeah, I'm the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's awful.
And
let me see if there's any questions. Then we'll get into let's see. Any tips on how to eat fish and meat when I hate the cleanup from frying? I know it sounds lazy, but there's reasons. Can I bake those things?
Yes, I'll make chicken breasts. I'll get them from Costco, like 2 of those huge packages. So there's like 20. I think there's 20 breasts in each package, and I have 4 of these, those glass trays, oven baking trays, and I'll put foil in it and I'll spray it with nonstick, and then I actually brine the chicken. So what I do is I fill up the sink full of cold water and salt, and I put all the chicken breast in there and let it soak for like 30 minutes. That's way it doesn't dry out. And after it's been sitting, and I start the chicken breast in there, and then I start prepping my casserole dishes. And after actually 20 minutes of brining, then I take them out, pat them off with paper towel, put them all in there. I spray a little bit of nonstick on there, and then I coat them with olive oil with a little brush on both sides, and then I sprinkle seasoned salt, garlic powder, and a little bit of pepper. And I stick them all in the oven at 425 degrees, and I let them cook for about 40 minutes. And so that's 40 chicken breasts right there. And that'll last me, 4 or 5 days of eating.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways to do it. You guys, you can, girls are really, really good at making the good tasting stuff. There's recipes. You can go on YouTube, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Sorry. All right. How do you guys deal with back pain, acupuncture, decompression? Yeah, I mean, we're all messed up. I mean,
so I have I got a nerve compression in my SI joint, which is kind of like down on the very bottom of your lower back. It's also kind of going into my glute. And I actually did this deadlifting probably 15. Let's say I did it in 2010, 2011, something like that. So it's been a while, about 15 years. But just in the last couple of years, it started acting up and getting worse. I think it's so I have to do all kinds of stuff because otherwise it just irritates the shit out of me. So one thing I do is before I train, I put capsaicin on it, which is heat, and this liniment. I'll put that. I actually put it all over my shoulders, my lower back, knees, and then I lay on a stretching mat and do some calisthenics. And I use a massage gun and I just dig into there I'll dig into there for like 5 or 10 minutes until it's all loose before I start every workout. Other thing is I'll use lidocaine ointment, and I'll put that on my lower back, especially if it's like really tight in the morning. I'll just put that on my lower back right when I get out of the shower, and that helps a lot. And I do have a decompression bench at my gym, and anytime I do back or legs, I hang on that thing for 10 minutes at the end of a back or leg session. So that helps. But mainly what I finally had to do is I just had to stop deadlifting. I mean, deadlift was one of my best exercises, and now every time I deadlift, my back would just be jacked. So almost all my back workout is chest supported rows or pull downs or pull ups or something like this, or pull over machine. I'm not saying it's as good as regular bent over rows or deadlifts, but it's just what I have to do, because if I overstrain my back, I'll just be jacked up for several days. The other thing, I still squat heavy, but I have a 13 millimeter lifting lever belt, a real heavy one. And as long as I have that thing locked on, that totally supports my lower back, and I can still squat heavy and it doesn't bother my back.
Decompression is awesome. My neck, I've got C4 through C7 herniated, and my back, I got 2 herniations too. And it's common in bodybuilding. I mean, the heavy squatting, a lot of these guys now, they've got they don't really barbell squat anymore. So I don't know if they're going to have the same issues because they have the machines that take a lot of pressure off the back, but it's just part of it. I mean, I'm in chronic pain all the time. So, I mean, I'm doing stem cell next month, but I do, of course, massage therapy. Decompression helped me dramatically, especially for my neck. My left arm was atrophying and I wasn't able to curl that much. And so decompression, a lot of chiropractors have it, some physical therapists, it's the machine, they strap your neck and it pulls you and releases, that really helps, because what it does, it pulls the disc and it allows blood flow in there. And you got to find a place that's not going to rip you off, because a lot of people, the first chiropractor I found that had a decompression machine, he was charging me, I think, $350 each time to use it. I thought we had an understanding it was 10 sessions for $350, but he was charging me $350 a session. And when he had the total bill, because he billed weird, I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, are you out of your mind? Because then by that time I already found another chiropractor, and he was just charging $40 each time for an adjustment and a decompression machine. And we went back and forth. He's like, can we agree to disagree and just settle on this? I'm like, F no, I'm not paying you. That you're out of your mind. You're ripping people off. You're a con artist. So I never paid the guy, but it's lunatic.
I have a decompression bench in my gym.
A machine?
It's a one that you would find at chiropractor's office. It's not the machine. I know what you're talking about. But this thing, you get in it and you hang. It's sort of like a leg curl machine.
An inversion table.
It's not an inversion table. It's different. You hang like your legs are like in a leg curl, and it tips over. You have handles. You lower yourself and you hang straight down, but your legs are bent like you're hanging. So it's not straining you're not like strapping your ankles into like an inversion table. But yeah, you just get on there and hang upside down. Like I said,
I got an inversion table right here. Those are they make me nervous sometimes.
No, I hang for 10 minutes after. Anytime I train back or legs, I hang for 10 minutes straight afterwards.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Improve posture. Just keep your shoulders rolled back. A lot of people, when they sit all day, they're like this, and they put their head forward. Whether you work on the computer or anything, everybody's kind of like this. So just make sure during the day it kind of looks weird, putting your shoulders back. And then my wife's a physical therapist, so also exercises you can do, especially for your neck. Just get your chin like this and just do sets it like that. I mean, it really helps your neck. It seems silly, but it really helps your neck pain. And
there's actually a thing called a Bowflex. They were real popular for a while, and I haven't seen them. They didn't. I don't know why they didn't stay popular, but it's a kind of a harness it's elastic, and you strap it on, and it forces you to keep your shoulders back, and you can wear it while you train or just walking around if it's really a problem.
What are they injecting Sleepy Joe with? I don't know. At that level, they've got, probably some sort of stimulant and some sort of cognitive thing for the brain. Who knows? What do you think?
I mean, you could be a lot of things, but
Yeah,
you
it's something.
giving his age and his medical condition, I doubt if they're giving him like Adderall because he'd have a freaking heart attack.
Right.
So probably just something low level stimulant, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. I know it's
So
bad.
we're gonna touch on that. Oh, DECA only cycle. So actually, this was tried to make popular by what's that guy's name? There was a guy who was promoting DECA only cycle. It was right on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, he's actually very knowledgeable with nutrition and everything. But to answer your question, so when I lived with Mike Menser and trained with him for a year back in the mid 80s, all we took was NPP, 300 milligrams, 3 days a week, which is basically fast acting nandrolone. That's all that we took. And we
You
grew
didn't have
on
sex
that.
drive problems?
What's that?
You didn't have any sex drive problems?
I was like 20 years old back then, so
Okay.
I don't think at that point it didn't. I don't remember it affecting me like that. But yeah, that's all we took. And that year that I trained with him, I got pretty big, taking only DECA. Now, would I do that now? No, I think you need a little testosterone just for general health. So I wouldn't do that. I'd still, my favorite cycle that what I use now is nandrolone and test. That's pretty much it.
If you can't get big off test and DECA or test and EQ, there's a problem. People think all these older guys are like, I just did a photo shoot yesterday, posting the pictures. People think I'm taking pro level cycles. I'm not. It's like when you've been training so long, the muscle just doesn't disappear unless you stop working out. Of course, I'll tell you exactly what I've been taking. The only thing I've taken in the last 8 years is testosterone and VAR. I'd usually do in about 6 months a TRT dose. My TR dose is different though. I have to take 400 milligrams just to stay about at 1,000. If I take 200 milligrams, my test levels only stay about 500 or 600. So I work for a clinic too, work with the clinic, and some people are like that. And then the other half of the year, I'll go up and test. I like higher tests, like 600 to 800. When I was competing, I would do like a gram to, like 1,500. But and then I would take like VAR like twice, a year, usually spring and summer, 6 weeks at a time. Since I had to get ready for a photo shoot yesterday and I have a video shoot Friday, I added in some Winstrol and I added in some, so I test, Anavar, Winstrol, and Equipoise. And then I take my product, Seromax, which is a pure MK677. And then I started taking GH again at 3 IUs first thing in the morning. So that's what I've been doing the last 2 months. My body soaked it up because I haven't taken any Winstrol and EQ in like 8 years. So my body soaked it up. People keep asking me if I'm going to compete. And then I'm going to do stem cell. This guy's question about the stem cell in Mexico, it's freaking expensive. So we had Dr. Khan on RX Muscle. So I invited him on there and we interviewed him and all that. For stem cell, for my neck and back, it was going to be $60,000. Okay. If you do some sort of like, promotion deal where you do like an influencer thing, post on your profile and all that, it was going to be discounted. Okay. So I planned to go do that. But then Dave sent Ronnie Coleman to a Regenimex in Mexico years ago. Ronnie's gone everywhere, but the problem is Ronnie's whole back was pretty much metal and screws before he got the stem cell. And he would, I live in Arlington, and I would see Ronnie at the gym. I'm friends with Ronnie, and he would have back surgery, and he would be at the gym 2 weeks later working out. And it's just like, you're supposed to be resting for 4 months, and he's there like doing 10-pound dumbbell curls. I don't care if it's 10 pounds. You just had freaking back surgery. And then so eventually at one point, Ronnie was on, like 30 mgs oxycodone a day. He was taking that like 8 times a day. He was in pain, but Ronnie's crazy. He just loves to train. The stem cell, though, we're getting it at cost, but it's still expensive at cost. I mean, so if you're looking to do stem cell, if it's like a shoulder or knee, you're looking around maybe 10,000. But if you're doing like several disc and spine, you're going to be paying around $30,000 to $50,000. And I've talked to other clinics too, and the normal price is around, like, average people are paying around 30 grand. It's extremely expensive. The feedback is good though. I mean, and if it can get me just out of 10% of my chronic pain, I'll be happy, because you know how pain is, Larry. It affects how your mood. You feel when you're hurting, you're in a bad mood. And, when your back goes out or whatever, it's miserable, but it's just part of training or anything. Like, you can be a couch potato and have herniated discs. You can get hit in a car. I got mine in 2 car wrecks, but
I will say this. My back pain and really got bad when I took that Boldenon, what was it? The fast acting Boldenon that they came out with.
Yeah. It'll come to me in a second.
It's like Boldenon propionate, but it's not really. It's like 1 testosterone. Yeah. Anyways, everybody was saying that stuff was the greatest stuff, and I took it just to try it, and this is about, I want to say, three years ago, and for the first 8 weeks, I got really strong on it, and then everything started to hurt. My whole body started hurt. My shoulders, back, just everything started hurting, and it was that stuff. And
I can't think of the name either right now, but it became real popular. A lot of these kids, younger kids, a new compound comes out or something, and everybody starts taking it. They think it's the next best thing. I mean, I was a stupid kid before too, when I was like, you would hear something, oh, that's going to make you huge. There's not one compound. Huh?
Dehydroboldenon.
Okay.
This.
Why do you think that made your back hurt? Just your DHB. Yeah,
DHB, dehydroboldenon. And that
hurts too, right? The pip?
No, the one I had didn't. There was no pain, none of that. But like I said, I got really strong for about 8 weeks, and then all of a sudden my back hurt, my shoulders started hurting, everything started hurting. It was bad. And now, I swear, this stuff right here.
I can't see. MPP, yeah, MPP is good.
Yeah, this stuff here, 200 mgs a week, and I'm good. I have no joint pain. Like, everything feels good. I've had MRI on my knees, just because I've had torn my ligaments and things and tendons in my knees. And the last MRI, the technician said, "Wow, I've never seen knees like that," because my knees are like, in an MRI, they look destroyed. But I can still squat heavy weight, and I don't have any pain in my knees. Go figure.
Do you do PRP too, Larry? I do PRP like every 6 or 12 months.
I did it like a couple times, and I can't honestly say I don't know if I saw any big benefit from it.
Some people it helps a lot. It helped me dramatically. The times I used it, I've done it numerous times. So it's kind of like cortisone at first. It helps with the inflammation. Then it can help healing later on.
What I do is BPC 157 and TB 500. I do that religiously.
Yeah. I take a bottle of each a week.
I do it 4 days a week. And each time it's 500 milligrams or micrograms. And I do it with my growth hormone shot right before training. I just put it all in the same syringe and take it with a GH.
people, that's probably one of the questions lately I've been getting asked the most, how much to take. You can't take too much. So I take literally a bottle of TB and BPC every week. I do it in my knee and my shoulder. It doesn't seem to do anything for my back, but Lee Priest drunk was not a good look. Never seen Jay or Dexter like that. Okay, everybody's got their own personalities. Just because you're a professional bodybuilder or athlete, I mean, ideally you want to act a certain way, but look at all the football NFL players that does crazy stuff. So it doesn't change who you are. I mean, as you become a professional, or I even know when I was coming up in bodybuilding and was a certain contracts, especially Muscle Tech and Muscle Mag, they had certain, there's a lot of stuff in the contracts. You couldn't act a certain way. You couldn't talk about certain, you had to, not act like a fool, right? Lee Priest isn't, he's not competing anymore. He can do whatever he wants to do. So.
Well, I can just make one comment on that. When I was 20 years old, I went to the bar with my friends, and one of my friends was working as a bartender, and the other friend was a bouncer there. And I was sitting at a table, and they kept bringing us both drinks, and they were kamikaze drinks. And I had never actually drunk like anything before that. And I didn't realize they were giving me kamikazes, and they were giving my friend just like soda pop. So I'm like, if he could do it, I could do it. And I must have taken like eight shots of that stuff. And sitting there, I didn't feel anything. I felt fine until I tried to stand up. And then when I tried to stand up, like, oh, wow, everything, I was dizzy. I felt like the room was spinning. I had to like hold on to stuff, like I was going to fall over. Well, the next morning I woke up, I had to get first of all, I had to get a ride home because I couldn't drive. I woke up with a pounding headache, the room spinning, and I just told myself, F this sucks. I feel like
I hate alcohol.
Shit. I never got drunk again after that, ever.
Yeah,
I did that one time. I learned my lesson. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So all I can say is, I know maybe he didn't realize it, but at his age, I know better. I'm not going to go slam a bunch of mixed drinks. I would just not do that. At 20 years old, I was stupid. I didn't know what I was doing, but at his age, he should know better.
Yeah. I just never liked alcohol. I was big on GHB. I'm not going to lie. When I was younger, it was still legal when I was 16. They made it illegal, I think, when I was 17 or 18, but had older bodybuilder friends. When I was like 16, 17, I befriended all the older bodybuilders at the gym, like, 30, 40, 50-year-olds, because I wanted to learn. Young kids now, they don't do that. They follow kids their own age, which we'll eventually get into our next subject, which is really weird because nothing beats experience. Nothing beats experience. You can go read 1,000 books on how to be the best. I even went to school to be a dietitian, to learn nutrition. They were trying to teach us you can't absorb more than 20-something grams of protein. That doesn't teach you anything. Okay. Trial and error. And a lot of these young coaches, they just don't know. They might have one client that's a genetic freak and everybody runs to that coach that runs to this, but you have to know what you're doing. And, a lot of people are doing now, a lot of these bodybuilders, they're retiring and they had contracts that were lucrative their whole career. Now they don't have money and they're trying to prep people. You can't go your whole career not coaching people and all of a sudden try to coach people and be good at it. I'm not going to name names, but it's a lot of them. And they're trying to coach people, and they're just like anybody else. Just because they're one of the best in the world or top 20 or 30 or whatever in the world, they don't know what they're doing.
Well,
I started coaching at a young age. I don't know about you. I know that coaching wasn't a real thing for a while. I remember when I first started helping my friends for free when I won my first show, just because I put on Muscle Fast. And after about a few years, all my friends were like, you should do this for a living. You're good at it. At that time, there were coaches. So I started doing up. I built a clientele. I started personal training people at 16 because I knew the owner of the gym, even though you had to be 18. So I got an early start on all that. And I'm sure you did too, right? You're in the gym division.
So when I started back in the 80s, I won my first show at 16. And then at 18, I won the USA. And there was not no such thing as a personal trainer. There was no coaches. It didn't really exist. I mean, there were some people doing it, but it like wasn't a thing. You didn't go to a gym and have a personal trainer. But after I won the USA, there was a older guy came to me in the gym and he said, I want to compete in Mr. Las Vegas. And can you help me? So I prepped him for that show and he actually won his show. And over the years, I never really like sought out training clients, like to be a trainer. Just people would come to me and be like, can you help me get ready for the show? And I would just do it. And one thing is, you can train yourself and figure out what works on yourself, but what works on you might not work on other people because they have different metabolism. They respond differently. So, like I trained with Nasser for one competition and he had me doing like crazy amount of cardio and starving and all this shit. And he just destroyed me because I went from 230 in contest shape down to like 196 in 6 weeks. That probably worked for him because he had a slow metabolism and he could train twice a day in high volume and do 2 hours of cardio and starve. For me, it wrecked me. On the other hand, I've trained people with slow metabolism and I have to have them doing a lot of cardio. So you have to be able to adjust. And I think the only way you learn that is by working with different types of people. And not even just necessarily coaching like bodybuilding clients, just it is different doing a contest prep, obviously, because you have the drugs involved. Yeah. But even just training like regular people for, getting in shape, losing weight, whatever, you still apply the same principles of diet and exercise to them. So you see what works on people and you can make adjustments and stuff. So like Armon said, experience means a lot because, I can take someone and look at them and be like, okay, I can see how your body is responding and we make this adjustment, that adjustment, whatever, and have a pretty good idea of where they're going, where we're going to go. And I can say the people that I have prepped for competition, everybody comes in shredded. I've not had a single client ever not come in shredded. Well, no, back up. I had one bikini girl that she refused to stay on her diet. And I probably just told her.
I drop people that don't.
Yeah, I told her I can't do anything with you. You just keep cheating. I can't help you with that. But the people that listen, everybody comes in shape.
I've got to the point, about the last 10 years. I was coaching tons of competitors. I was turning a lot of people pro. And around the 2015 time, when really Instagram got big and all that, people started competing for the wrong reasons, not because they love bodybuilding, but because they wanted to put cool pictures up. And that's when I started getting tons of prep clients, because that's been my main income and source of income, a coach and train. I've trained people in the gym and coach people for the last 20 years. And it got to the point where, first of all, most people can't find like a legit gear. I mean, a lot of people, I have them like roid tested and all that. A lot of people just can't find good stuff. A lot of people just don't know what bodybuilding is about. They start suffering. They're like, why do I feel bad? I'm like, you're supposed to feel bad. You're going to feel bad once you get low body fat. And then it's become, I remember at, backstage at nationals or whatever, people wouldn't get the call out they would want. And there would be certain coaches backstage that would literally steal other people's clients because they're down on their luck. They didn't make the call out and they're just stealing that person's client. Hey, let me help you with this. I mean, that's pretty down low and dirty, but you got a lot of these top name coaches out there. They found people that were genetic freaks, like over the years, Ronnie Coleman, Phil Heath. Ronnie Coleman didn't have to have Chad Nichols. Phil Heath didn't have to have Hani Rambat. Of course, it probably sped it up, but they're genetic freaks. But you got a lot of people now, coaches, they'll see a genetic freak. And this is like how Matt Jensen got a big following, and he would go, buy their gear for free, have them stay at their house, have them stay at his house. His wife would cook their meals, and give these people these insane cycles to take. That's literally killing them, and they don't care, or they don't know. I know when the Washington Post, they were doing that write up about Shelby Starnes and some other people. I think some coaches that were killing people. They got a hold of me. Okay, so I said I didn't want to talk about any of those guys, but I thought Matt Jensen was a real problem. And always people are always like, you hate on Matt Jensen, you're just jealous of him because his client. Trust me, I'm not jealous of him at all. I make my living. Trust me. I think what he's doing is wrong. A lot of these people, of course, what you put in your body is your own deal. But if you put your trust in somebody, which coach-client relationship needs to happen that way, I've had the most successful clients that just listen, and they don't I don't know about this, not only this. Yes, if something's bothering your stomach or you feel bloating, you, of course, communicate. But he hurt a lot of people. I've got a lot of his clients that he hurt. I mean, from kidney failure to other stuff, and that's not right. And I couldn't look at myself and go to bed every night and feel good about myself. That I don't care if I have a couple top pros in the world and I'm known as this top coach and I've literally killed people. That's not okay. And it's got to the point today where these guys, they're on so much. I remember taking 2 to 3 IUs of GH, and I was like, okay. And as you go on, you maybe get a little higher. These guys today, they're not even competing. They're taking 20 IUs of GH a day. You see it, Larry. You see all the guys that have they're 25 years old and their head's this big and their bones are growing out here and here and here. That's from excessive growth hormone and IGF use.
Actually, there's a pro bodybuilder, I'm not going to say names, but trains out of my gym, and he works with a pretty well-known coach, and he just told me off the record they have an arrangement where basically the coach, he doesn't really coach him. They just have a business arrangement where he gives him credit for being the coach, but he does his own preps and stuff.
I've done that before, Larry. I had several coaches contacting me, and one of them, they'll, and if the price is right, I did it. I mean, they want to take credit for their client, and you're doing everything behind the scenes. Whatever, I don't care. If I gave them a price, they agreed to it, and boom, and it helped their business. It was a good payday for me, and that's common a lot. And a lot of times, you think you're hiring the coach, and the coach's girlfriend or wife is doing the programs because they've got so many clients. You got to understand, you got different kinds of people out there. You got people that are just extremely money hungry. They'll do anything for money. Then you got other people out there that actually care about people and want to see them do well. And they care a little bit more about money. They actually care about people. And I always wanted to see people do well. And I've helped out a lot of people along the way. And usually the people you help the most, give discounts, or maybe prep for free, are always the ones that screw you over or don't listen. You don't help. I stopped doing that.
I have a guy, he's a genetic freak. I prepped him for nationals 2 years ago. He placed top 10 his first nationals, on track to could have won national. I mean, he's going to compete this coming up USA. Probably had a good chance of winning if I was still prepping him, but he wanted me to prep him for free. And I'm just like, you're not God's gift to, and I don't make my living at this. So I don't need you. I don't need to put my name attached to you to make my living. One thing is, if I coach somebody, it's it's a side thing. It's not my main thing. I don't depend on that. I run my gym and I make my money that way. And I'm also a meet director for powerlifting meets. I just got appointed actually California state chair for USPF. So I'll be really busy with that. So if I take on any training clients, it's because I want to, and I want to help them, but it's not for the money, and I don't need the recognition. I could care less.
Yeah.
It's not my main thing.
And if they don't make it fun, it should be a cool process for both people, no matter if you're just winning a local show or taking it to the top. I've had several people that, you know, they could have been really, I mean, really good bodybuilders, and just mentally, just a lot of people don't have it. They'll get in a relationship, the girlfriend doesn't want them to do them, they quit. Just a lot of different things, or, you know, it's expensive to compete too at a top level. So, you know, I've helped out a lot of people too before, and it's, you know, like Ronnie Coleman, he sent me, I'll say his name, Corey Matthews before. I prepped him a while back to, you know, got his pro card, and he got to the point where he couldn't afford, you know, to pay. And I said, that's fine, just, you know, whatever. Then one of my other friends gave him a bunch of gear for free. Well, not for free, just said, hey, just get me when you can, you know, like kind of a bro thing. Like, that's normal. Hey, I understand you don't have it now, just get me later. So I just said, hey man, when Muscular Development and the other outlets, RX Muscle, they all interview you, just tell them, hey, Armon, help me. Of course, I didn't only help you, I literally just held this guy's hand and did everything for him. And when they did the interviews, hey, you know, like, thank anybody? Oh yeah, no, I did it all by myself. And I was like, wow. And so of course I dropped them. Then I think Dennis James was prepping him, and Ronnie Coleman was funding all his stuff, and Ronnie was even giving him all his gear for free. And he, at 6 weeks out, this guy, he had someone else contact me and say, hey, Corey really needs your help again. I'm like, is that a joke? Like, absolutely not. And so Corey eventually contacts me, and I didn't think he would do this because his ego, he literally begged me to help him, beg. And I said, yeah, this is the price. Like, I'm never helping you again like we did before. He paid it. He was, did it. That's when Dennis James was trying to coach people. He was 6 weeks out. He was way behind. I'm like, we'll see what we can do in 6 weeks. I think we got like third at the Phoenix Pro or something like that. But yeah, the people that always, you know, you give discounts to or help for free, those are always the ones that do something silly, or, you know, you just regret.
Their ego gets too big. Like this guy that like I said, I got him ready for nationals. Before that, he couldn't even win a local show. And then all of a sudden he wins the local show. He gets top 10 in nationals, and now his ego gets huge, and he thinks that, you know, he can just do it himself. And now he's figuring out that it's not working like that.
Kicks Lee's ass. That's just drama on there. No one's going to beat up anybody. Lee's just wild and crazy, and, you know, it is what it is. All right. This brings us to his next subject. People ask me this all the time. They ask me why I hate on Sam Sulek, and I don't. And whoever's asking this, I guarantee you're probably young. When you state facts, you know, I just know, like, when I was coming up, and when people used to come up, you had to work hard and do certain things and earn your stripes, you know, to win competitions and, you know, get in the magazines. And I'm not living in that phase anymore. Obviously, we're starting a YouTube. We're not living that. But I would just state facts. You know, if I was Sam, and I would even be like, what the F is going on? I haven't done anything, and all these people are in love with me. So I don't dislike Sam at all. Great. The guy, he's not a kid. He's 22 or 23, but he's making money. It's just his fans are crazy. The kids that are following, those are the ones that are crazy. And they're just like, you could literally say, like, yeah, you know, Sam's big, he looks great, but he couldn't win a pro show. That's obvious. He's not a bodybuilder. Like, why do you hate Sam? I'm like, oh my gosh, these are 15-year-old or 18-year-old kids saying all this stuff that are sensitive. We just state facts. I have nothing against Sam at all. Good for him for, you know, making his money and doing all that. I hear that he's starting his own supplement company now. I understand the supplement industry, because I got into the supplement industry because I I was with a lot of different companies over the years. Muscle Tech, Dymatize, 5% Nutrition. I was with Dave's. I think Dave's was the only nutrition company I actually liked. I actually take their supplements. They have good supplements, and I still take quite a bit of their supplements. But when I was with Dymatize, they were located here in Dallas. So I got to know everybody really good here. I got to know from the manufacturing team to all the chemists that made all this stuff and the formulations. And I was their only male athlete when I was with them for the 4 years I was with them. And before me, they had Craig Titus. So for them to take on another athlete again, they were really skeptical because they had a really hard time with Craig Titus. I don't need to really go into reasons why. Craig Titus wasn't the nicest guy, obviously, but I wanted to make supplements because I was tired of taking junk. And when I was a kid, we all spent our money on a bunch of junk that didn't work. So I was like, I just want to make the best formulas. And if it makes money, cool. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, it is what it is. I was passionate about doing it. I wasn't thinking money, dollar signs, because like Larry said, my career has been prepping people and training people. Okay. And if I was like, if it makes money, it does. My first line, which I have had 8 years, Adibi Army Nutrition, which we just came up with that name at first because I didn't plan to even go much with it, but made good products. People started liking it, started selling more and more. And I only sell it on my websites. We put it in stores. It's too much trouble dealing with the stores. Just came out with my second line, AMG Labs, which I'm sending Larry. I'm sending you a bunch of stuff. My wife needs to do it. We meant to do it the other day. We're coming out with 6 products. We have 2 products now. And if my manufacturer says, Armon, man, you're only going to make like $8 a unit on this. You can, take this out and make, this much a unit. I was like, no. I want the supplements to take, and I want like a pump product. I want to have the best pump product there is for me to take. And like, it goes back to being money hungry. If you're getting into something and just thinking all about money, you're probably not going to do well. And if you do, you're going to do some dishonest things along the way. That's probably, a lot of these top supplement companies, just because they're well known doesn't mean they're good companies. I'm not going to name names, but there's a lot of supplement companies out there. They make a lot of trash, or their marketing is just amazing.
Yeah, I was approached by one of the top supplement companies, like money wise, by someone who I've known in the bodybuilding industry like my whole life, and they're the spokesman for that company. And they wanted me to carry that brand of supplements. And I actually studied the ingredient label and their line, and I just decided it's a garbage products. It's all marketing hype. And I just told them, I told them, like, I can't sell this stuff because I wouldn't take it myself. The supplements that I do carry, because I use it. Like, I actually use those supplements. Like, I just placed a supplement order the other day, and this might sound funny, but to get my quantity discount, I have to place like 23 bottles as a minimum order to get the price break to where I can sell it and make a little bit of money. But as I went through making my order, I'm like, okay, so in case this stuff sells, which stuff will I use? Because I'll eventually use it up myself. So I ordered like protein, the carb product, the liver product, their kidney product. Like, these are the products that I use myself. So if for some reason it doesn't sell, I'll eventually use it.
Right. And a lot of people don't know, let's say I want to start a supplement company, or these other guys like Sam and Chris Bumstead and all them, because Chris Bumstead, that's not his supplement company. He has a percentage he owns, but he's not coming up with formulations and all that. So when I was wanting to start a supplement company for a while, I contacted certain manufacturers, and what they basically had, they sent you a list of a couple different formulations and like, which one do you want? And then they pretty much label it, and that's it. And I was looking for a place where I could do stuff and come up with my own ideas. And that's how I started. I mean, I even have, this is my first, pump product. There's no magic in it. I mean, it's citrulline, agonine sulfate, glycerol, and overall, but the right amounts to do something. And, it gives you a crazy pump. And I put niacin in there too, because I know backstage, you're kind of cold, and we sold it as like a pre-stage product, and we still sell it, and we sell a good amount of it. But these guys aren't passionate about selling stuff, or they don't really know much about these ingredients. They just know, like Sam, okay, if he sells some stuff, people are going to be buying it. It's not a passion. It's like next dollar sign, or it's going to do well because he's so popular. And a lot of these guys, it's not easy. Trust me. I mean, Phil Heath had a supplement company. He even said, man, this shit wasn't easy. And his supplement company, they eventually, so many people have started supplement companies thinking dollar signs, and it doesn't work out. It's not easy. Trust me. My supplements out now, we were supposed to have all 6 out already. You got labeling people you're dealing with. You got your manufacturing. And what I would do for manufacturing, or the compounding of the different supplements, I would get it together. I would give it to about 20 of my clients, about 10 of my friends. Give me your honest opinion. If I didn't like it, I would tell my manufacturer, let's add a little more of this, maybe just try this, get it back. And it would be like a 6-month to sometime a 12-month process. And then when because I'm anal, if I'm going to make something, put my name on it, and I'm going to take it myself, I want it, the best it could be. Am I going to cut corners? No. A couple products I couldn't make because, like protein, I mean, that it just doesn't make sense to make protein. The shipping costs are a lot. And everybody has a protein. So I love pump products. We've got 2. I'm coming out with a glycerol-based one too. That will be out in probably another couple months. And I just love it. I just love doing it. So all these other people starting these companies, someone probably approached them, hey, you want to have a supplement company? It's not theirs. They're not doing all the behind-the-scenes work. Right. They're just the name for it, like Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman is not telling the guys what he wants in the supplement. Ronnie Coleman doesn't know. Ronnie Coleman has always said, I don't know what I'm doing. I just listen to Chad. People, he would send me clients, Ronnie, to prep. And it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know about nutrition. I know what I did, but this guy can actually prep you. So I respect people like Ronnie that are honest, not to just capitalize. And, so Sam will start, I guess, his brand. And kids might buy it. And that's the thing. It always doesn't equal dollar signs. And when you do something because you love it and you're passionate about it, and you make a living from it, even if you're not making millions, but you're making a living, you're going to be a lot happier doing it rather than doing something and absolutely hating it and making a lot of money. Right,
well,
Larry?
I didn't run a supplement company, but in 2007, I had a gear lab, and in 1 year, I had the number 1 gear lab in the world. My gear was the number 1 selling gear in the world. And the reason it was, first of all, the market was there, but I wasn't the only one making gear. At the time, everybody would underdose their products. So I intentionally overdosed all my injectables by 10%. And I knew how to compound. So my tablets were right on the money. And I had a lab in Utah that would test every batch. And I'd have every single batch tested to make sure that it was dosed correctly. And I also had the right filtration equipment and knew how to do everything. So everything was sterile and clean. So nobody ever got an infection or an abscess or anything. And after doing that, I realized, like, man, it's so easy to mess this up. And people get greedy. It's just like the markup was already so huge. I was making like 20 times my money, even overdosing it by 10%. So why you got to like underdose it to make a little bit extra money? It's just stupid. But that's what people do.
And it comes down to, like just people get so greedy, and then just want more and more. They're addicted to that money and greed. And some people,
it's stupid business, because like I had a pharmacy on Rosarita. He was one of my biggest sellers. Actually, he was on Revolution Avenue in Tijuana. And this guy named Caesar. And one day I go to drop off a delivery to him, and he says, look, some other guy came in, he brought this product here, and he's selling it cheaper than your product. And I'm like, well, I can guarantee you there's probably nothing in it, but how about this? I'll take it, I'll send it to the lab, and we'll get it checked. I sent it to the lab. It came back, there was nothing in it. It was just bottles of oil. That's why it was so cheap. And I showed him the lab report. I said, there's nothing in it. It's just fake stuff. He said, well, can't you just make some fake stuff too? I'm like, no,
Yeah.
dude. Do you not understand the reason our stuff sells so well is because it's legit and people know that?
Well, it sucks too because we've all probably taken some fake gear before, and that freaking sucks. You don't know. You get ready for a show, man. This is not working. I mean, that it's shitty. You feel like a shitty human being if you do that. But like I said, it comes down to I don't even care if you're making gear, if it's illegal or not. You have morals. Like, hey, Larry's making a good product. It's not like, hey, my name's Larry. I got the best gear product, because it's not. You can't do that. But he knows. I feel good because I've got the best product out there, even though people don't know it's me, because you're probably not going around saying, hey, yeah, I'm making all this gear.
No, there was a website with the lab on it, but not my name attached to it. No.
But I know, but you're proud because you can say, I know I'm doing the best and have the best stuff out there. And it makes you feel good, right?
Not only that, I knew what bodybuilders wanted, and I knew if I made a good quality product that worked, people were going to buy it and get repeat business.
Yeah. Lee's going down. A lot of Lee stuff on here.
I want to say one thing on the Sam Sulek thing before we get off that. A lot of people were really coming down on Fuad Abiad about, pimping out Sam and taking advantage of Sam and all this stuff. Now the truth's come out. Sam could do whatever he wanted. Sam just, he was contacted by, what is his name? Mr. Beast. And offered him a collab, and Sam turned it down. And
that's
Fuad
weird.
They contacted Fuad first, and Fuad's like, here's his number. Yeah, call him up. And Sam didn't want to do it.
It's weird, not only because you're not selling out, because Mr. Beast does a lot of good stuff for people. He buys people's homes, people's dead broke, homeless. He buys a home, buys people's cars. So for Sam, I mean, this is just weird. Why would you say no? Mr. Beast is not some just greedy guy, just, going around. This guy actually helps people. Why wouldn't you collab with somebody and bring fitness into it? Like, you're helping someone, man. You get to go with Mr. Beast and watch, someone get a house or a car. I mean, that's just weird. I think Sam, might be a little on the spectrum. I think that's what a lot of people think. And, like autism and all that. I have some friends with some autistic kids, and they kind of think he's on the spectrum. And that's why he maybe acts the way he does and makes decisions like that. I don't know, but.
Well, Johnny Bravo said maybe he's just really not that motivated to do all that. And, he didn't intend to be a celebrity, a YouTube celebrity. It just kind of happened to him. And now he doesn't want to get bigger for whatever reason. He doesn't have ambition like that.
And with all that fame and celebrity status comes a lot of nonsense. People are constantly talking about you, right? I mean, he's the biggest person in fitness right now. He hasn't even competed, and he's talked about all the time. That will drive people crazy. You see all these actors and actresses, they lose their mind. Fame doesn't equal happiness. I would not want to be that famous at all as Sam has right now. I mean, that's all people talk about. We're going to talk about it because we talk about what stuff that's relevant. I don't have any bad nature towards Sam. I don't even know the guy. It's just we state certain facts in bodybuilding that we talk about. And that a lot of people take that, oh, you're hating on somebody. No, we're not hating on somebody. That's just people that's too sensitive or betas. They say stuff like that.
I just look at it he seems like an all right dude with a decent build. I don't know why he's so popular. For the life of me, I can't figure it out. But some reason that younger generation, they gravitate towards that, and they, whatever he does, he's relatable, I guess, to them.
And he just hit. It's like the lottery. Some people just hit. I mean, Rich Piana had I know you and didn't get along, but he had a kind of a little aura about him. Like when he'd go somewhere, people would gravitate towards him. Sam sets up a camera. I can't even watch a whole thing. I mean, just works out, he's very awkward. He says like kind of little off stuff. Like that's where I think he might be on the spectrum. But it's boring. It's very boring to me. And most people like that's why the fan base is young. But he's not only doing that, but he's all the exercises he's doing wrong. Like I said the other day, he had Sansom Dowda, one of the best bodybuilders in the world, trying to give him advice, and he was just kind of like this, like he was being rude to Samson. That's why I'm like, is he just being rude, or is he on the spectrum with autism? Because the way he was acting was just weird. Like, dude, if I was his age, you got to. And then he was talking about, man, I've been traveled all over the world. That's a good thing. You've got to, you know how many people want to travel all over the world and see things and meet people? You got to do this for free. And you're talking about it like it's some like pain in the ass. That's weird. Mr. Beast contacted you and wanted to do a collab. You didn't even see what he had to offer. You just said no. You just denied it. And it's not like another collaborator. I can't even think of something, Larry, but like someone that like has not a good agenda contacts you. Mr. Beast's agenda is good. Have you seen his stuff?
Oh yeah. I've seen it.
It's weird.
Yeah, he plants trees and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. The Lee thing, I don't know with Lee's personal life, if he drinks or anything, but it is, I don't know. But we're not here to talk bad about Lee or bash people. So sometimes I know Decker and Rangelone, whatever you want to call it, makes some people feel a little weird or off. I know it always affects my sex drive, no matter how high my testosterone level is or anything. It just always affects my sex drive negatively. But
some people are more susceptible to that than other people. I've never had really big problem with that unless I go too high on the dosage.
Did you need an AI DHT blocker 400, 600? I'm not sure what you're asking with that question.
He's asking, did you need an AI on 400, 600, or 800 megs of tests? I can answer that question.
Oh, okay? Yeah, I see it. It was
First of all, I don't know about what you're talking about, a DHT blocker. There's stuff that prevents stuff from converting to more DHT, but
they're probably talking about Som Palmetto or finasteride. Everybody's taking finasteride now. I took it for 6 years and I hated it.
Yeah, you need DHT or your sexual function is not going to work. So I don't know if I want to take something that messes with that. And I haven't really had hair loss problems, so I wouldn't mess with that. But as far as the AI, there was times when even on not crazy high dosages where my estrogen just got too high. I got tested, it was like 300, and I think I was only running like 400 or 500 of tests and DECA, and my estrogen was like 300. So I had to take an AI to bring it back to normal range.
When you've been doing this long enough, you can kind of tell if your estrogen is high, if your estrogen is low. You kind of learn to. I convert easily.
Some people, yes, but for me, no. Like honestly, I've never broken out. I've never had gyno. I don't pull water, even when my estrogen was high.
No, I'm talking about like the way you feel. Has your estrogen? It's been low before, because when you do a competition, don't you bottom it out at the end?
Oh yeah, I know I can make it too low, but I'm saying
right. So your joints
when it's high, I don't get the normal side effects of like breaking out, bloating.
But you get moody and moody and kind of depressed at all? I get that. That's what I get.
Not really. No, the only reason I knew was from Bloodwork.
Yeah.
See,
it makes me like, I had gyno. I had my gyno removed. I actually got gyno from, so finasteride, I know a lot of people are taking it now. I took it for 6 years. Okay. So because my hair started thinning a little bit back then. Okay. So when I hired Hani as a coach, I told him I was taking finasteride. He's like, no, bro, you got to come off that. I go, what's up? He goes, it's probably blocking some of your gains. And I was already on finasteride for 6 years. So I came off because I was worried about my hair, because at that time I was doing a lot of not just magazine stuff, but I was doing like actual modeling stuff too, where I would lose muscle and go do shoots. And I came off within about 6 to 12 months. I was dramatically stronger, and my size, I went from a smaller heavyweight to like super heavyweight. So for 6 years, I was blocking gains. And some people will argue that it doesn't. It absolutely does. I've had some clients, they were on it long-term too. It didn't affect my sex drive much. I just couldn't ejaculate on it very well. But you don't want to block your DHT completely, because you need some, but you don't want to, have it too high either, because some people can break out and prostate issues and all that.
There's a DNA testing company that I work with, and I actually had my DNA tested, and some people are high converters to DHT. On mine, I actually don't. Like, okay. I'm a low converter. So like, I don't really convert a lot of testosterone to DHT, which is probably why I have such like dramatic effects from DHTs, like Primo Mastron, anything like that. It affects me a lot. Like, as far as like joints getting dry, all this kind of stuff, because I just don't naturally convert a lot to DHT. Whereas like Dave said, he's a big converter to DHT.
Yeah.
So you might want to get that checked. You can get your DNA tested, and it'll tell you, if you're a converter to DHT or not. And there's a lot of other things as well. Tell you if you're estrogen sensitive, all kinds of. It tells you like every drug, if you have an adverse reaction to it or not.
Which one did you do, Larry?
I'm using the one out of Canada with Carmen Tushanek from Karma Life.
Okay, so I did the 23andMe. It had a lot of stuff, but it didn't.
So that's not even close to this. This is like this nothing to do with ancestry. It's a total like health panel thing.
23andMe, they have a health panel too. It doesn't go into it. It tells a lot of stuff, but I don't think it told DHT. I mean,
this goes way into depth into hormones and everything. And the other good thing is like, if you've never read one of these reports, you might find it like kind of not sure how to read it, but she actually goes over the report with you and explains like what things mean, so you really understand it, because it's a lot of information.
Yeah, I befriended this doctor on TikTok. He's a big genetic doctor, and I was going to use that 10x Health. I actually did do the 10x Health over a year or so ago. The whole one Dana White was hyping up and all that with Gary Bredka. That's the biggest scam company ever. They only test 5 SNPs, which is nothing. And they had a doctor call you. The doctor called me. I literally knew more than this doctor on the phone, this girl. I was reading the blood work and like to her. I'm like, this is a young female doctor that doesn't know what the F is even going on. And then they wrote me this supplement list I needed out. Of course, they carried all the supplements. And then I actually so I made a video on TikTok, and it blew up about 10x Health, because a lot of people were hiring them, because Dana White, was like, basically, man, I like Dana White. I was like, I've been so unhealthy for years. And this Dana, the only reason you got healthy because you started eating clean, and you started TRT, and you started certain normal supplements. It's not because this guy is such a genius. So everybody starts paying like this 10x Health, which is I didn't even know this because I don't know him that well. I just know he's full of shit. Grant Cardone. That's Grant Cardone's company. And Grant Cardone's full of it. He's a pathological liar. And so 10x actually contacted me if I would take the video down, if they could pay me to take the video, because it was getting so many hits. And I said, no, I'm not taking the video down, because y'all are bullshitting people and lying to people. And people are paying their hard-earned money. It's like $750 straight up. And then I told them, already get extensive blood work. They're like, no. The blood work we do is very extensive. There's no way you're normal. I work with the HRT clinic. HRT clinics hire me to consult with people. Okay. I've been doing this for about 12 years now. I started with my doctor friend that passed away. And then over the years, I've been with the current TRT clinic I'm with now, that they could prescribe other compounds too, Naranolone, Anavar, Winstrol, Anadrol, all that. They're not going to prescribe all that at once. That's a full cycle, but they can prescribe it. And when I get my blood work, it wasn't not only extensive, it was way less than I was already getting. And so I was pissed. So I put the word out there that no, they're not doing anything special. And then that's how I met the doctor on TikTok, which I haven't hired him. And I've referred a lot of people to him because I watch him on TikTok and he has a ton of good information. And I'll even tell you his name, just because if you want to follow him on TikTok, he's legit and he knows his stuff. Dr. Michael L. Johnson. Okay. When we started talking, he didn't have much of a following. He has about 500,000 following on TikTok now. And he's awesome to watch, this guy right here. And he's familiar with hormone replacement and everything and pinpointing, genetics. So he's whatever. But anyways, I love that cycle with the test and bar. I run that or Masteron if there's no real water around. And then the rest of the year, TRT. Yeah. That's what I've basically been telling people I've been doing for the last 8 years, and people been calling, some people, they just keep telling me, and a couple of wannabe YouTubers. This one guy made like 12 videos on me. He makes videos of a lot of different bodybuilders. I don't know why me, because I'm not competitive anymore or compete, but the guy's made like 12 videos of me. I'm not even going to say his name because I'm not going to give him any clout, but the guy's got a screw loose, and his obsession is all these bodybuilders are lying about what they're taking. And the ones he's calling out, they're really not. He just doesn't understand. Some people have really good genetics, and his genetics are so poor. He's run everything there is to run. And he's like, there's no way this can happen, just because when a lot of people, their genetics really just suck and they've taken massive cycles and they might even train hard and ate a lot of food too. And some people just can't get big no matter what. It's not in their genetics. We all know that. Yep. Right, Larry?
And there's other people that can get big on almost nothing.
Right. Testosterone to blow up.
Well, Victor Richards, he was one of those DECA only guys. And I don't think he took like high dosages either because he had no money. But he was the most massive person I've ever seen muscle wise.
It's funny because, like Metroflex, Arlington here, you've got a lot of great genetic freaks in there, but they're all broke. They can't afford cycles. And it's like, if you gave these guys, like, if they could afford cycles, some of the probably the best bodybuilders in the world that could have been, that they're not known because they're broke and they can't afford to take the drugs they need to. But what gear is Wes Watson running? Armon, Larry, out of guess. That guy's here. I'll go first. The guy's an idiot. We already spoke about him the other week. He's probably running, some testosterone, maybe 500 milligrams. He looks like he likes to stay lean, so he's probably not doing anything that causes water. So maybe you got to understand, people aren't running the same stuff constantly all the time. People take different stuff all the time, but he's probably doing, testosterone on a normal basis, maybe some Anavar, MPP, Equipoise, and maybe some growth hormone, probably a good amount of growth hormone. And he's not very big.
I'll say what I said before. No one knows what anybody's taking except for the person who's taking it, even no matter what they tell you, because even if their coach tells you they're taking something, they could be taking something more. Right. If I had to guess what he's taking, I would say it's probably like Tess and Tren. And the only reason I say that, he seems like the kind of guy that just like, I don't really care. I'm kind of wild and crazy, and whatever the strongest thing is, I'll take it. So
I was gonna say that too, but yeah, and he's an idiot too. He's always saying stupid shit. Yeah. And Tren does affect people mentally. Some it can affect. I mean, you know how many clients have told me, man, I beat up my girlfriend on Tren. I'm like, well, that's not good. If you're beating up your girlfriend, don't take Tren. Or if you get on Tren, that's why a lot of bodybuilders do recreational drugs. They'll take Xanax, they'll smoke weed all day to calm themselves down. When I used to take Tren, I would literally take a lot of benzos, whether it be Klonopin or Xanax. I had to, because I'm naturally just kind of amped up. And I didn't like the way Trenbolone, I've never liked the way Trenbolone made me feel. Even in the gym, I would just kind of get out of breath easy. I don't like that compound. Yes, it makes you look a certain way. It would even make me nauseous. So I never liked it. So I would only take the last 6.
Gives you a short temper, at least for me.
Yeah.
Like normally, you know, it would take a while for me to get pissed off on Tren. No, I get pissed off over just something stupid.
Larry and Amon, what do you think about John Romano saying, if you're not ready to die young, then get out of the sport, talking about bodybuilding? Well, current bodybuilding is pretty scary. I've consulted with a lot of the bodybuilders. I would say the top 30. I've talked to a good amount of those guys about possibly working together, because they've got from referrals. They knew I've worked with some, good people before. The thing is, they're already taking so much stuff and they look a certain way. And if you tell them to take less, they're not going to take it, because they're already used to taking such a high amount. So I couldn't work with them. I personally don't like where bodybuilding has gone.
I would say that.
One more thing. And I never was one of those people like, you can never be too big. But when people are running their shape, that's getting too big. You have a pretty shape, everybody can max out on. And when you max out your physique and keep going, it's not a pretty look.
I'll say there's probably, I'm actually not probably, I know of some people that run really high dosages, and it seems to work for them. I also know some pros that are running not so high dosages, and it's still working for them. So I think at the pro level, it's like you either have the genetics or you don't. And
it's like people,
if you don't have the genetics, no matter how much you take, you're not going to look like a pro.
No. It's like some people too, they smoke cigarettes and drink their whole life and they live to 90. Some people can use anabolics and abuse them their whole life and live long life. It doesn't mean you're going to pass away. Genetics come into play. Other stuff comes into play. So you can't always say it's going to kill. I mean, people say, Nick Walker's going to die any day. Is that true? No, we have no clue. I mean, I do know his health was bad as a certain point, because the coach he went to for a while told me it was, but we don't know, we don't wish that on anybody, but you gotta get blood work. And at a certain age, I started getting my heart checked up too, not just EKG. I would go beyond that, and echocardiogram, stress tests, calcium scores, to see what's going on with the heart. Because even the cardiologists I've been to, they're like, do an EKG, it's fine. Okay, whatever. You have to tell a lot of times these cardiologists, no, I want to know my heart health. Let's do these extra tests. A lot of cardiologists won't. And every time I've had to tell them, no, I want to do echo, stress. I want to do all this stuff. Luckily, my heart's healthy. My cholesterol does get high, but I have no blockages at all.
I had all that done last year, and my left ventricle is enlarged, probably from just so many years of training and anabolics. It just is what it is. The interesting thing is that my calcium CT score is actually really high. However, I had
220. What was yours?
Oh, it was, I don't remember, but it was high. But it was, but I have nothing inside. It's all on the outside, which is weird. I have no blockages. There's no calcium buildup inside my arteries. It's all on the outside. So
just like I was saying, just because your calcium score, mine was 220, which is, it's not terribly high, but it's a little high. But I did not have, so they said I did further testing and I don't have any blockages. Test probe, whole body hurts. A lot of times test probe just does that. I mean, some people get achy.
I can say a couple things about that. One, it could be the test probe, but it also could be just the way that they're making it. A lot of places, they don't make it right. They put too much benzyl alcohol in there, and whatever carrier oil they're using might having a bad response. So it might not even be the test probe. It could be just the way they're making it is causing these problems.
So I've taken test probe from a compounding pharmacy, and I've taken test probe from the ampules from the Middle East, and those don't bother me that bad. So yeah, whoever's making it a lot of the times makes it not good, and it swells up pretty bad.
I use it all the time. I never have an issue.
We don't know. That's his personal life. We could care less. We all got our own issues. I don't really care what's going on with someone's marriage. Like I said, we're not here to talk bad about people or bash people. That's not how we are. Would you pose for P. Diddy if he offered you $1 million? Yep, let's go, P. Diddy. Of course. Who wouldn't do it for $1 million? Of course I'd go pose for him. Would you pose for P. Diddy for $1 million?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I don't even know who P. Diddy is.
Puff Daddy, like the huge rapper it has all these allegations against him right now.
Oh, just like pose in your fucking bodybuilding shorts?
Yeah, just do pose for him, like a muscle worship, like just pose
for $1 million. Who cares? You go on stage and pose in front of everybody else. I can tell you this: when I was a teenager competing, I just won a contest, and I came off stage, and this photographer guy says, "I want to photo shoot you, but I want to do it privately, and I'll pay you money." And I don't remember how much he offered me, but whatever it was. And I'm like, you just want to like do it like outside, like the building here? He goes, no, I want to do it in my hotel room. I'm like, in my posing trunks? He goes, well, maybe we could do without the posing trunks. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Like I said, back in the day when I was doing all the muscle worship, some people called it gay for pay. I wasn't doing gay acts, but I don't care if they call it or not. I was making good money. Like I said on RX Muscle the other day, I would like go to nationals and I'd make 15, 20 grand that weekend easy, going from room to room to room. That's not such a big deal anymore. I talk to bodybuilders now. And the reason why, because I think, being gay or whatever, so much more accepted or whatever. Armon, on the Netflix documentary, your face really sucked in. Why was your face always sucked in back then? Well, duh, I was dieting all the time for bodybuilding shows. When you diet for bodybuilding competitions, especially me and Larry, I know you keep a low body fat too. My body fat would get extremely low. I'd get shredded glutes and all that. So all this stuff, my documentary, that was 2 weeks out from nationals. And then all my other media stuff, it wasn't the off season because back then they would just shoot you or interview you when you were contest ready. So you never saw us in the off season. We were like this. So that's why my face was sucked in. That's crazy. The questions that people what I think about Shifty from Crazy Town dying. Yeah, I remember that song, Sexy Butterfly, Beautiful Baby, whatever. Larry probably don't know that. It was like a big song when I was probably in high school. Yeah, 2000. He had substance abuse problems his whole life. He was on that show, Celebrity Rehab show or whatever. It was just, he lived to 49, which is actually surprising for, addiction. And addiction sucks, man. I've dealt with it and myself, and I've been around, like when I would go to the detox places, when I would try to get off, when I eventually got off opiates, but I went there several times and I just always felt like, what am I doing here? This isn't me, because these other people, most of them didn't have anything going for them in their lives, but you did meet people, attorneys, doctors, that got hooked on opiates, or athletes by just, getting a surgery, staying on pain pills, and then they're addicted. I mean, that's common. That's why fentanyl is killing so many people, because people can't get relief from pain, and the doctors really aren't prescribing pain pills much anymore. And they go to the street and get fentanyl, and then they're dead because they don't know how strong it is. What's up, Alexis? She's one of my clients, and she's an awesome client. You can probably answer this, Larry.
Says he
'Cause you
never
hung out with him.
eat sodium. You think that hurt his heart? That's not true. He was a big sushi eater, and sushi's loaded with sodium. So I don't know where you got that from. Maybe you're talking about right before a show. That was a thing that we did like back in the 80s. Like it was like sodium was bad, so we tried to deplete sodium, which is I think is stupid. Do I think that had anything to do with why he died? No, I don't think that. I'll tell you why he passed. Long after he was done competing and everything, he kept shooting not only massive amounts of anabolics, but synthol a lot. The guy, he told me when I met him, he said,
That Olympia, Larry, when his rear delt was like, how did he possibly think that was how he was gonna place good on a stage when his rear delt was like sticking out? Like here's his rear delt, and then it's out this much with inflammation and oil. That's crazy.
When I met him, he told me that the scar tissue was spreading through his body like a cancer from all the synthol, and that he was having all these deep tissue massages to break it up. And then the next morning we meet for training, and he shows me his bicep, and he's like, I did it here, here, and here. And I'm thinking, you told me, I'm thinking of I didn't say anything to myself. I'm thinking, last night you told me this stuff is killing you. And now you just showed me where you injected it 3 places in your bicep. And I'm thinking he got a screw loose. I knew immediately he's not all there.
There's a guy here locally. He's not a bodybuilder, but he hangs out. He was friends with Ronnie and Gus and all them. But he would get bottles of synthol, and he would use it in a whole day. There's 100 mLs in the bottle. He would put it everywhere in his body. He'd load everywhere, and just to go out to the strip club to look. The guy, people are crazy. Just you're jealous is such a kindergarten argument. So when earlier we were talking about people saying, you know, oh, you're jealous. Like if I make a video about Sam or someone, people are like, oh, you're just jealous of them. Like, no, I make a video stating facts. And you're right. That saying that is an argument. It's like, why would I be jealous of some 23-year-old kid that's like, that's his life. I have my own life. It's like people are jealous of people that people are very jealous all the time of certain people. I've never been that kind of person. I've always been the kind of person where when I was coming up, when I was getting contracts, even when I was the Diamondized and I would do all these ads, I always try to include my friends and everything. I've got so many of my friends in magazines and ads like back in the day, or even now, like I'll bring friends on here that don't have big names and promote their businesses. I want to see people around me that are good people do well. And I'm not jealous of people. That's I don't have that in my, that's not something I struggle with. Everybody struggles with certain things. I've always had an anger problem, or then I had the opiate. Jealousy or envy's never really been, I've been happy with my life. And that, I know Larry's like that way too. We get along so well because we have some of the same traits. I don't get jealous of people. Like if someone has more money, cool. You have more money, that's great. Like cool.
You know what, I was I think I was like 21 and I was in prison, and an older guy came to me and he said, you know, the people here hate you. I'm like, why do they hate me? I don't bother with anybody. I just, you know, go to work and do my job and go lift weights. Why would people here hate me? And he says, well, number one, you're going to school and you're making something out of your life, and you win all the powerlifting meets, and you're getting out of here, and they hate you because you're going to get out of here and you're going to do something in your life. And it took me a minute to like, to sink in, to really like understand, like they're doing life in prison and I'm a young kid and I'm getting out and I'm going to school. Yeah, I'm winning the powerlifting meet just because I'm stronger, because it's just because I'm training harder probably than everybody else. Yeah. But I never thought of the jealousy about that, because it just never even crossed my mind. So it's weird when you tell me like people hate you because you're going to do something. And we're not even talking about like, I'm just going to be something in my life other than a prison, stuck in prison, being like that for the rest of my life. So, but there is that out there with people. And I still don't totally understand it, but I know it is.
Yeah, you know,
I've
when
never
I
been
was
envious of people.
when I first started competing, me, my friend Chris Jalali, rest in peace, and my friend Stephen Frazier, which still competes today, and we're prepping him. He's 45 years old. We're prepping him for his next pro show, the Tampa Pro, and then Texas Pro. He's a big old boy. He's like 270 on stage. When we were all coming up, so we were looking up in our area. It was Ronnie Coleman. We had some of the best bodybuilders. Ronnie Coleman, Johnny Jackson, Branch Warren. Okay, those were the top bodybuilders in our area, the best in the world. So we looked up to those guys. And the next group of people coming up after them, that was in the magazines. And that back when I'd say magazines, guys, I'm not living in the past. That's what was a big deal back then, to be in the magazines. That was like a huge accomplishment. Like when I picked up a magazine, like, man, I just would love to be in here one day. And when I got my first magazine, I was ecstatic. And then when I got my first contract with Muscle Mag, that was my favorite magazine growing up. I was so happy. And then Chris was sponsored by Muscle Mag, and then Steve got on with I was with Muscle Tech, but I was happy for all my friends. So all the other people like that was coming up to us telling us, oh, that's so cool, this and this. Over the years, we found out that they were talking really bad behind our backs. And I'm like, that's so weird. I've been nothing but nice to these people. I've always greeted them. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. They all wanted to be us. We were winning shows. We were in the magazines. You know, we worked our ass off, and they had the same opportunities. We didn't have any extra opportunities. Like, we didn't grow up with money or anything like that. And, you know, people are just like that. And if they took all that jealousy and hate, because to hate somebody and to be jealous, that takes energy out of you. And so even when I've had hate towards people that's done me wrong, that I've hated people before, and there's a couple people I still don't like at all, that's caused a lot of issues in my life. But you got to let that go, because that takes energy out from you, and like it's not going to benefit you. Put that energy towards something positive, make your own life successful, and go on with your life. And you know, like a lot of these people that are so angry, and they stay on, you know, back in the day we had the message boards. Now we have, you know, social media where they just comment hateful stuff all the time. It doesn't bother people like us. We have thick skin. We wouldn't do this if it did bother us. But you can make your life better by putting that energy towards whatever your job is, whether you're a janitor or an attorney. Do the best you can do. And if you don't like your situation, take chances and try to get out of it. It's weird, right, Larry? And we don't understand it because
I'm
we're
too
not like
busy. I'm too busy trying to work and do things in my own life to worry about somebody else, to be honest.
I think these people, they don't work, Larry. Like you were saying earlier, these people, they don't work. They have too much time on their hands to follow everybody else's lives and stuff like that. Armon and Larry, your option on the goofy Tren twins. They're clowns and shouldn't be looked up to in the fitness world. Do you know who they are, Larry?
Yeah, I know who they are. And I want to just say it like
Go
this.
first.
I don't know these guys personally. I actually haven't watched their content because I could care less. You know, what they're promoting and whatnot. I don't even watch their videos. As soon as I heard Tren twins, I just knew it was like a circus act. So it just didn't register with me. I could care less what they're doing. But I will tell you this. Years ago, you know, I was a director for powerlifting meets, and I had a kid come from Bakersfield to compete in one of my meets. And I want to say the kid was like 170 pounds. And when I went to weigh him in, he had the worst acne I've ever seen on anyone. He had like boils all over his chest and his back, like big oozing boils coming out. And I asked him, like, what was he taking? And he was taking like several grams of tests, several grams of Trenbolone and a whole lot of Anadrol. I think he was like, I don't remember the exact, but it was a lot. And I was like, what are you doing? You're going to kill yourself. You're like, I think he was like 19 years old, like 170 pounds. And he was like, okay, strong for his size, but he wasn't like crazy strong. And I'm like, why are you taking all this shit? Like, look at what it's doing to you. It's like coming out of your pores. Like it's just oozing out. It was so obvious. And to me, it's stupid. I mean, the guy was he wasn't that strong. He wasn't that developed. He was a little fucking nuts because of all the drugs he was on. You can see he was all hyped up, like it's almost like he was on meth. I think it's just foolish to think that you don't do all that.
Their name was just that, but we don't really know what they're taking. But here's the deal. When I was young, I was an idiot too. Like I look back on the things I did, and I'm like, God, I was such an idiot. Like everybody goes through their stage when they're stupid. I mean, I was a kid. I look back at some of the stuff I did. I'm like, man, like what a little piece of shit I was, or what a little shit I was. Like I deserve my ass beat for doing that. But people go through their stages and they'll eventually mature and get out of there. But they've got a following and they're just rolling with it. The thing is today, what's different is people don't care how they get fame, whether it's in a negative way, attention. I would always want certain good accomplishments to get well known or whatever. Like that's what I would want. But today it really doesn't matter. They're going with it, and these things are short lived. Because to be in this industry and to have longevity of it, you're only going to compete so long. And if you want to stay in the industry, whether you're coaching, YouTubing, owning gyms, or whatever, it's not easy to stay in an industry a really long time and to stay relevant. Most of these people, they've got a little popularity in the last couple of years, and it's probably not going to last. The Tren twins, there's been so many of them I can't keep up. That's come and gone. It's just little phases because they have no real good information to offer.
Well, there's something I want to touch on here. When I was coming up in bodybuilding, Trenbolone was kind of new in the sport. And we had Finaject, which was tren acetate, and the parabolin. And at that time, it was like, really hush hush. We didn't talk about it. There was no internet. No one really knew about like side effects and what it did to you or anything. And I did take, I don't think it was like grams or anything, but I was taking a good amount of Trenbolone, and I liked the way it made me feel because I was strong as hell in the gym, and I had a temper constantly. And at that time, I was bouncing in nightclubs, and I thought that was cool. But my father told me you're going to end up either dead or in prison. In hindsight, looking back, he was 100% right. And I did end up in prison. And in hindsight, looking back on it, I probably had a lot to do with the Trenbolone because I was literally doing crazy shit. I can't even say some of the things that I did back then because it was a crazy world. Like, I mean, people were dealing drugs and shooting each other. I known a lot of really bad shit that went down. That I can't even talk about because it would be problems. But I literally did some stuff. I look back and I think to myself now, what the hell was I thinking when I was doing that shit? I was like out of my mind.
Yeah, it makes people, it gives you like when you usually get angry, you're like, okay, I need to cool down. It's just some people. All right, we got a lot of questions. Let me go through some of these real quick since we're getting close on time. How many grams will Matt Jensen tell them to take? I mean, a typical thing, because I've seen a lot of Matt's programs, the clients I've got. I mean, a lot of GH. So GH would be either like 15 IUs or as much as you can take if you can afford it. So like anywhere from 15 to 30 IUs of GH, insulin, 100 a day of Lantus, and then 20 to 50 of Humalog per meal, stuff like that. But grams and grams, 5 Anadrol a day, just a lot of shit. I mean, it's not good for you. Is there any side effects to laser hair removal? Okay, so I get laser hair removal because I'm extremely hairy. I'm half Persian and I've taken anabolics. So you have to have dark hair to get laser hair removal anyways. It doesn't work on white hairs or blonde hairs at all. It hurts bad. It's like a hot rubber band popping you each time. Okay, so does it permanently get rid of it? No, it makes it a lot lighter, and you do it every growth session. And I'll have somebody come on here as a guest before. I'm friends with several people that the girl that's doing my laser, it's been like 10 years, and then other skincare people and plastic surgeons I'm friends with. I can get them on here to talk about that stuff. There's no side effects to it unless you got someone that doesn't know what they're doing. They can burn you, or if you lie to them and if they ask you, have you been out of the sun for 2 weeks, and you say yes, and you haven't, and they laser you, burn. I've done that before because I wanted to get lasered, and my whole stomach burned. It took like 6 months for the hyperpigmentation, but no, if you go to a right place, it's fine. It's
I could just say this: I did it one time, and they told me it was going to get rid of the hair.
No,
and my hair grew back like almost immediately, and ever since then I just get shaved.
Yeah, you have to do it every growth cycle, which is usually like every 6 to 8 weeks. I've been doing it for 15 years. What it does is, if I don't do it, I get really hairy and it's like itchy, and I have to shave, and so I'm uncomfortable, and I get ingrown hairs, and I have really sensitive skin when my hair's coming out. So that's why I continue to do it, and I'm not paying a ton for it because I'm friends with the person and all that. So facts equal hate speech according to them, according to people. Yes. The new fitness guys are lame, not inspirational at all. Tren, Sam Sulek, and Alex Eubanks are lames. Yeah, I mean, that's what we talk about. We used to look up to real people that are inspirational, like Ronnie Coleman. I'm sure you looked up to people a little older back in the day. Like, we looked up to people that made accomplishments, and now it's not like this. People, if they go viral, people follow them, and they're not. These people aren't giving out information. Well, I guess Sam just started giving out nutritional information, which is a train wreck. But it's Well,
I came up training with the top bodybuilders in the world at the time, because I was training as a teenager in World Gym in Santa Monica with like Lee Haney, Rich Gaspari, Bertil Fox was in there. I mean, all the top pros were there. And then I met Mike Menser. So these were the people I looked up to, but they were like top pro bodybuilders. There was no internet celebrity thing. So
yeah, so it's all new to us. Sam isn't a bodybuilder in the bodybuilding industry. He's a pop star, famous for bodybuilding. I don't know what that is. I want to enter a small bodybuilding show, just a bucket list. You guys work with amateurs. I prefer working with amateurs over top national.
I got a guy I'm prepping right now. This is his second show ever, and we're like halfway into the prep, and he's already almost ready for a show.
The prep, my clientele, I take on most all clients for lifestyle, but for prep, we have to do a consultation because I got to make sure the person knows what competing is about and all that.
Well, I make him get blood work done, everything, posing practice, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, so most of the people I work with aren't local. I do all online, but I just don't take anybody on for contest prep, but we would just have to do a consult. Let's go through these dogs. How's your dog doing, Larry?
He's getting old. It's rough. I get him Adequan shots every week.
That's why I'm done with pets. I have my kiddos, but it's hard losing a pet. They don't live long enough, so it sucked when I lost my dog. I've seen some clips of Sam that exhibits a bit of autism or social anxiety. We were talking about that earlier. I think he has a little. There's different spectrums to autism. There's really, there's different levels, and just the stuff he says and acts, and he turned down that lucrative thing with Mr. Beast, not to only help probably himself, obviously, but other people, just weird stuff like that. People with autism, they can be extremely smart because I heard I guess he's going to school to be an engineer, and that's the type of personality that it fits to. Engineers, they can be very smart, but they usually ask a lot of questions. And if you're coaching them, they ask tons of questions. It's like when someone tells me they're an engineer, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is not going to be fun, coaching them or whatever. But that's what we said earlier. I have no clue what Lee drinks. I think Sam is great, but hate his fans. Yeah, a lot of times people's fans will make his fans are pretty nutty. And those are mostly kids, like I said, 15 to 18 years old. I said critical things about Sam that could be accused of attacking him, but it's actually not. We're expressing surprise and confusion to the magnitude of his fame. That's the same with us, me and Larry. We're just trying to figure out. We don't understand. It's probably our age too. We don't understand, we know hard work, accomplishments equals, fame. Now it's just like, we don't get it, but that's not for us to get.
I would say
following.
To me, he's impressive for a kid his age, being pretty strong, but I was as strong or stronger than that at his age and built, as well or better. So I don't know.
That's what I say, Larry. Teenage bodybuilding used to be a huge thing. I know growing up, I started as a teenager. At his age, I was bigger on one shows. And so I'm not trying to compare myself to him but why doesn't he compete? I don't know why. He's probably, who knows? Who cares? We've talked enough about Sam. Mr. Beast is one of the few social media celebrities that has a good heart and good intentions. I think can be said this. I don't know Sam, but Mr. Beast does a lot of good things for people. So
I don't think there's anything wrong with Sam as a person. I just think that that he's just overblown because his fans are crazy for him for I don't know why. Can you explain 27 gauge half-inch pin, 1 mil oils? Doesn't that size pin take a while to inject? Okay, the answer to your question is yes. But I would say it would probably takes me about a minute, maybe even 2 minutes to push it through. But there's a reason it takes me 2 minutes. I could push it all through in 10 seconds, but I don't, because when you push the oil through too fast, you will create an abscess. In other words, it doesn't have a chance to absorb into the tissue. If you push the plunger and inject it in, it's like a bullet going into you, and it will create an abscess. You'll have a little knot of oil that's in there. So I intentionally will push a tenth of a cc in, and then I'll wait a few seconds, and I'll put another tenth of the cc in, and I'll wait a few seconds, and I'll keep doing that until it's all the way in. So I could take a minute to 2 minutes to do it. Just because, not because I have to, but because I don't want a freaking knot in my wherever I'm sticking it.
All right, guys, it's 5 minutes. I gotta head out. TRT dose. I was curious to use AI or finasteride, like you said. I'll usually use AIs. Let me see a couple more. I don't know where the clip is. I don't know if it's being. Like I said, I don't know if Sam was being rude to him or Sam's just awkward. I think Sam's just really awkward too. So he kind of looked away, and he just wasn't giving Samson respect or really listened to him. So we're done talking about that. So. Yeah, Wes Watson. I don't know how he does have a fan base. He talks about all these money that Larry, the prison life. It's got to be just maybe idiots that just came out. Who would pay this guy money?
So there was a kid that came to work for me, tatted up kid, and he was one of these kids that had been in jail, and he'd been part of a gang, and he was telling me Wes Watson. He believed all Wes Watson was a big high roller, money roller, this, that. He believed all that stuff, and he wanted to be just like him, and I don't know. To me, it's just stupid.
All right, guys, 2 more questions and we got to go. I'm just going through these real quick. No news on Leo. I don't think that thing's ever going to be solved. Probably. I mean, the thing is, when you pass away or you're murdered, the guy was really bad to everybody. So you don't really have anybody trying to figure out, like, you know what I mean? Like, he treated everybody really bad. So it's not like, oh, let's figure out who killed this poor little girl that was this and that. He treated everybody bad. And I don't know. I don't want to say someone deserves to be murdered. Pedos do, but it's just like, he probably did something really dumb. Like he was beating up those girls he was hiring on a regular basis. So what do you think's going to happen? You got somebody that's running a service, and whatever happens. So, hey Larry, did Mike Mintz ever tell you private stories about hating Arnold for winning?
He hated Arnold with a passion. He never got over that Eddie Olympia. He hated him. A matter of fact, there was one time he said to me, I don't care about Arnold. And I said, well, for somebody you don't care about, you sure talk about him an awful lot. And that pissed him off. He really didn't like that. But he hated him.
Leo gave some really bad advice out. Like I said, when I was talking at Boston at the end, I kept telling Boston, your kidneys are not going to go back to normal. And Leo kept trying to convince Boston that he could get his creatinine levels back down. Leo did give out a lot of really dangerous advice, to a bunch of different drugs you can combine, and they call it biohacking. These guys that, they're obsessed with all these different compounds, and it's crazy and it's dangerous. And you got to understand, when you start messing with, like, I'm not a huge fan of like nootropic stuff that messes with the mind, because it's messing with your mind. It's messing with your chemistry in your brain. Okay. So it's scary, because Leo was just like this all the time. And I think it was probably a big part of all the, Boston told me he was on 15 different prescriptions just to, study and concentrate, and then just to come down and go back and forth. And that probably made him a lunatic. If he probably never touched any of that stuff, he probably would have been a normal person. So, good afternoon. All right, one more question, guys. Let me see. We gotta go. It's almost at 2 hours, and I gotta. Yep, go get it. Yeah, ESPN, they used to run it on there. Yeah. Let me see. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. There's a bunch on here, but yeah, you see the pictures of the working girl he beat. He beat up girls on a regular basis, so it is what it is. All right, guys. Comment down below. Share the video. This is our second time going. We'll be here next Thursday again.
Week. Have your questions ready. Think about during the week what you want us to answer, and we'll do our best to answer those. We'll be on here next week, same time.
All right, guys. Peace out. Have an amazing day. All right, Larry.
See you guys.
Yeah, going back to the gym.
Everybody, listen up. No matter what your political belief is, watch that presidential debate, because it's important. That's all I'm going to say on that. Have a good afternoon.
All right, guys. Peace out. Later.